Can you learn how to draw using your non-dominant hand in 30 days? I don't know. Maybe. Can I learn how to draw using my non-dominant hand in 30 days? Kinda. You see, my right arm's got a bit overworked lately, so I decided to give it some time off. So, while I'm resting my right hand, I figured I'll train my left hand to draw. You know, in case my right hand falls off, I'll have another one ready to abuse. So what I did was, I drew on 2 pages of the sketchbook, which took around 10 to 15 minutes, every day for 30 days. Here's what happened. Day 1. Circles. Yeah. I wanted to see how well I can use the pencil, which, yeah, it's gonna take a while. It feels really weird to use my left hand for drawing. My pathetic fingers can barely hold the pencil without dropping it, so I ended up holding it tighter than I would using my right hand. And there was no chance for me making a perfect circle. So I kept drawing potatoes until I ran out of space. Day 2. I figured I'd start practicing basic lines first, because apparently, I have the left hand of a 3-year-old learning how to write for the first time. It is a bit frustrating not being able to draw as well as I'm used to. But I think the most challenging part is fighting the urge to switch hands. Day 3. This day is pretty much the same as the last one. I just drew basic lines for 2 pages. My plan was to do these basic practices throughout the month, so you'll be able to see the lines get better as time progresses, which would make for a good narrative for the video. You know, kinda like a hero's journey, or whatever. So I'll start as a weak and inexperienced scrub who faces some difficulties along the way and would grow as a result of that. And by the end of 30 days, the things that I found difficult at the beginning would have become easy and inconsequential. And by sticking with basic lines and shapes, the progression would have been clean and easy to understand. And you would have 2 points of comparison, day 1 and day 30, by the end of it. It's not a bad plan, but it has one fatal flaw. I have monkey brain. So, at day 4, I started with basic lines and shapes and managed to fill up 1 page before getting distracted and started doodling on the next page, which is also what I did on day 5. Kinda. Well, I tried practicing my shading on the 2nd page at least. And the day after that, I didn't even finish 1 page and just doodled most of the way through. On day 7, I started to realize that I would probably need to learn how to shade properly anyways. So I figured I'll practice lines on 1 page, and I'll practice shading and sketching on the other. That way, I can level up both skills at once. Day 8. I followed up on the plan I did on day 7, but by the end of it, I realized something. Why the hell am I trying to draw straight lines? I can barely make a straight line with my right hand right now. And I don't need to trick people into thinking that I know what I'm doing. I can just do what I've always been doing, which was sketching a shape and shading it in. So basically just do sketches and doodles from now on. I swear it's not because I'm bored of lines and I just want to sketch instead. So day 9 rolls in, and I started sketching. I figured I would do basic 3D shapes and then shading them in. So basically what I've already been doing the past 3 days. Yeah. Also, I did some basic shading for faces. Another reason why I wanted to focus on sketching and shading is because it helps me hold the pencil much more naturally. Because when I'm trying to do straight lines and circles, I grip the pencil a bit too tightly. And I also press on the paper a bit too hard. Similar to how a child writes and draws. And I really didn't want that. What I noticed was, sketching lets me hold the pencil more lightly. And since I can just repeat lines, I don't have to press as much. Overall, it just helps with loosening my hand and shoulders when using my left hand. Of course, that doesn't change the fact that I have as much control of my left hand as the world leaders have on the virus. Day 10. It was around this point when I realized it's going to take a bit more work to gain dexterity points on my left hand. So I would need to use my left hand a bit more than 15 to 20 minutes. But I also didn't want to record hours of me drawing lines over and over again. So I did some mining off camera. Which just means I didn't record most of the drawings I did. Well, they were really just random lines and shapes, as well as some shading stuff that I did during my downtime. I just needed some hours to get used to using my left hand. So instead of just recording the sessions I did, I also drew throughout the day. Well, mostly when doing stuff that I don't need my left hand for, like eating, or watching YouTube videos for 15 hours straight, or just staring at the wall, thinking how I wasted most of my life and that I would never get those years back. So yeah, a lot of hours. Day 11. Another day of drawing shapes and faces. I think it's easier to draw the shadow shapes of the face rather than drawing the outlines, but I still try doing them, since I'll need to do them anyway, eventually. The next couple days would be pretty much the same as day 11, I would draw a couple of shapes, then a couple of faces, and that would be it. Not counting the ones I did off camera. It might not come off on the video, but I do start to feel more and more confident with my lines as the days progress. Day 15 is when I started to focus on faces, and that's pretty much what I drew for the next 5 days. I would say that the hours I put in started paying off at around this point. So, I kept going to day 16, day 17, day 18, day 19, and day 20. I would say by this point, I have a fairly decent amount of control, at least enough to be able to draw half-decent faces. And yeah, I think if I kept going with what I've been doing, I would get somewhere. I would eventually get good at using my left hand. I just need to keep doing what I've been doing. Yeah. Day 21. Handsome Squidward. Yep. You see, for the last 10 days, I figured I would practice drawing one specific face in order to see if there would be a meaningful difference between day 21 and day 30. But I'm not really confident with my control on my left hand just yet, so I want to draw a face that's much more forgiving. You see, in my opinion, it's easier to practice drawing faces with stronger features compared to the ones with softer features. And Handsome Squidward's impeccable jawline, perfectly carved nose, majestic oval eyes, and those thick lips make him the perfect candidate. Also, I thought it'd be funny. So I drew Handsome Squidward for the last 10 days. It's actually pretty fun to draw. They're not perfect, but at least they look recognizable. I think it'll take more time before I can do normal faces. But for now, the only thing I need to draw is Handsome Squidward. I think as days pass, I got better and better at it, until the final day. I don't think it's that bad for 30 days. It's at least better than the doodles I did on the first week. So yeah, I can kinda draw with my left hand now. Well, mostly sketch, and I can't really do it with consistent quality yet. But I think I got to around 30 to 35% level of my right hand, which is pretty good, I would say. There are still strokes that feel pretty awkward to me, especially horizontal ones. It's also quite slow compared to my right hand, but then again, baby steps. But the most important part is by learning how to draw with my left hand, even if my right hand goes out for milk someday and never returns, I won't be out of a job. Probably. I hope. I'll probably keep going after this. Might make another video with my progress. And yeah. Also, if you're planning to attempt this, I don't know if you can use this as structure for learning. There wasn't really a structure to begin with. I just did what I want and just put a lot of hours into it, which might not work for most people. But if you want to, can't really stop you. Do what you want. Anyway, goodbye.